Assalamu alaikum. I'm Hekmatin Fleeran Singhwadi and I'm Student Plus Facilitator at Rehan School Online Academy Level 1. Today I'm going to another interview session with Call Annie and the topic is please. Hello Annie, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Just finished a quick yoga session feeling all zen. How are you doing today, my friend? Anything exciting happening?
I'm also good, Annie. And my day was good. And today another interview session with you and the topic is please. And my first question is what is the literal meaning of the word please?
Awesome that you're good. Interview time, huh? All right, let's get into please. Literal meaning. It's basically a way of saying be so kind as to grant this request or I want to be pleasing to you. It's all about politeness and showing respect. What do you think about the literal meaning?
Yes, sir. Annie, please means to convey your message like very politely. So that means to use word please.
Exactly. It's like a little sprinkle of magic that makes requests go down smoother. I like how you put it to convey your message very politely. Nailed it. So, what sparked your interest in please today? Is there a particular instance where you felt the power of that little word?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how is please used in sentence?
Okay, that's a great question. Please is super versatile. You can stick it at the beginning or end of a request. For example, please pass the salt. Or pass the salt, please. It's pretty straightforward, right? Now, a fun question for you. Do you have a favorite way to use please in a sentence? I'm curious.
Okay, Annie, my next question is what are some common alternative to please?
Okay, let's brainstorm some alternatives to please. Kindly pass the report. If you would, if you would submit your work. Would you mind helping? Could you assist me? I'm curious, which one do you think you would use?
Okay, Annie, my next question is does using please make sentence more polite? How?
Good question. Yes, using please definitely makes a sentence more polite. It's like adding a layer of respect and consideration. It signals that you're not demanding something, but rather requesting it. It shows that you acknowledge the other person's agency and choice in fulfilling your request. It's a small word, but it carries a lot of weight in terms of social grace. What's your take on it? Have you ever felt the difference between a request with please versus one without?
Okay, Annie, my next question is where should the please be placed in a question?
Okay, good question. Placement of please can subtly shift the tone of a question. Beginning, please, could you tell me the time? Sounds a bit more formal and earnest. And could you tell me the time, please? Slightly more casual, but still polite. I usually put please at the end, it feels more natural to me. What about you? Do you have a preference?
Yes, Annie, sometimes using the polite nature in other person to, that please do my work and doing great things. So this is a way to please sentence.
I get what you mean. Please do my work can sound a little demanding, even with the please. Perhaps something like, please prioritize this task if you can, or I would appreciate it if you could take a look at this when you have a moment. These soften the request. It's all about finding the right balance, right? It's an art form, really. It's like a dance, right? What kind of dance do you like?
Okay, Annie, I'm going to my topic. So my next question is how important is it to say please in daily life?
All right, back to please. I think saying please is pretty important in daily life. It's a small way to show respect, build positive relationships, and create a more pleasant environment. I try to use it as much as possible, even in casual situations. It's a good habit to cultivate. How important do you think it is?
Okay, Annie, my next question is what are the benefits of teaching children to say please?
Teaching kids to say please is super important. Here's why, in my opinion. Manners. It teaches them basic good manners and social etiquette. Respect. It instills a sense of respect for others and their needs. Communication. It helps them communicate their needs in a polite and effective way. Relationships. It fosters positive relationships with others. Plus, it makes them sound adorable. How had other benefits do you think there are?
Okay, Annie, my next question is what are the benefit of teaching children to say please?
Oops, looks like we doubled up on that question. But hey, it's an important one, right? Since we've already covered the main benefits, maybe we can think about this from a different angle. How do you think learning please at a young age impacts a child's confidence and self-esteem as they grow older?
Okay, Annie, my next question is it necessary to use please in every request? Why or why not?
Is it necessary to use please in every request? That's a tricky one. I'd say no, it's not always necessary, especially in very casual situations with close friends or family where politeness is implied. But even then, it's still a nice touch. What's your opinion? Do you think there are times when please can be skipped?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how do you say please in Arabic?
Oh, Arabic. I don't speak Arabic fluently, but I believe the most common way to say please is min fadlak mftulk when speaking to a man and min fadlak mftali when speaking to a woman. I'd love to learn more about different languages. Are you multilingual?
Okay, Annie, my next question is what is the Urdu equivalent of please?
Okay, so the Urdu equivalent of please is mherbani kark merbani kirki or bari mherbani bermerbani. I'm learning new things today. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Annie, my next question is how do you different cultures view the importance of saying please?
That's a fascinating question. I imagine different cultures place varying degrees of emphasis on saying please. In some cultures, directness is valued and saying please might be seen as less crucial. In others, like many Western cultures, it's considered a fundamental sign of respect and politeness. I am curious about your culture. What is it like?
Okay, Annie, my next question is does every language have direct translation for please?
That's a really interesting question. I honestly don't know if every language has a direct, one word translation for please. It's possible that some languages express politeness through different grammatical structures or idiomatic expressions. It would be fun to research that more. I will do some research about that tonight. Any thoughts?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how should please be used in an email or formal message?
Okay, let's talk email etiquette. In an email or formal message, using please is definitely a good idea to maintain a polite and respectful tone. Here are a few tips. Use it in requests. Please review the attached document. Use it with gratitude. Please let me know if you have any questions. Avoid overuse. Don't sprinkle please into every single sentence as it can sound insincere or even passive aggressive. Does that make sense? How do you feel when you receive emails that use please appropriately?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how does omitting please change the tone of a message?
Okay, so omitting please can definitely change the tone of a message. It can make the message sound more direct, blunt, or even demanding depending on the context. It's like the difference between saying I need that report and please send me that report when you have a chance. Big difference, right? What are your thoughts?
Okay, Annie, my next question is what is the historical background of the word please?
All right, history time. The word please actually comes from the verb to please, which originally meant to appease or to make someone happy. It evolved over time to become a polite way of making a request, implying that you're hoping to please the other person by asking them to do something. Isn't language evolution fascinating? I wonder what new words we'll be using in the future. What do you think?
Okay, Annie, my next question is are
Okay, fire away.
Um,
I'm ready for your next question.
how can please be used sarcastically?
Okay, let's dive into the dark side of please sarcasm. How please can be used sarcastically to express annoyance, disbelief, or disagreement. It's all about how you say it, tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language are key. For example, oh please, like I'm going to believe that. Said with exaggerated eye roll. Please tell me more about how you're always right. Said with a dismissive tone. Have you ever used please sarcastically? Or been on the receiving end of it?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how does the meaning of please change when speaking versus writing?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I think the meaning of please stays pretty consistent whether you're speaking or writing. It's always about politeness and making a request. However, the impact of please can change depending on the medium. In spoken conversation, your tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language add extra layers of meaning. But in writing, you need to rely on your word choice and punctuation to convey the same level of politeness. What do you think? Do you ever feel like your words are misinterpreted when you're writing?
Okay, Annie, my next question is what are some creative ways to say please without actually using the words?
Ooh, creative ways to say please without saying please. I love this question. Here are a few ideas. I would be grateful if. Formal and polite. I would appreciate it if. Similar to above. Could you possibly? Subtle and gentle. Would you mind? Indirect and polite. Just be super nice and helpful beforehand. Actions speak louder than words. I'm sure you can come up with even more creative ways. What are your ideas?
Okay, Annie, my next question is what are some creative ways to say please without actually using words?
Okay, let's brainstorm some nonverbal ways to say please. This is where it gets fun. Eye contact and a smile. A genuine smile and direct eye contact can go a long way. Helpful gestures. Offer to help with something before making your request. A small gift. A thoughtful gesture can create goodwill and make someone more receptive to your request. But be careful not to make it seem like a bribe. What other nonverbal cues can you think of?
Okay, Annie, my next question is can please be used at the beginning, middle, and other of sentence? How does the meaning change?
Okay, let's break down the placement of please in a sentence. Beginning, please help me with this. Sounds polite and direct. Middle, could you please help me with this? Sounds slightly more formal and polite. End, help me with this, please. Sounds a little more casual but still polite. The meaning doesn't change drastically, but the placement can affect the tone and level of formality. Do you have a favorite spot to put please in a sentence?
Okay, anyway, next question is please a verb, a noun, or adverb?
Okay, let's do a little grammar lesson. The word please can actually function as a few different parts of speech, depending on how it's used. Verb, I want to please my friend. Here, please means to make someone happy. Interjection, please help me. Here, please is a polite expression of request. It's not typically used as a noun or adverb. Did you find that helpful?
Okay, anyway, next question is can please be used in negative sentences?
Okay, so using please in negative sentences can be a little tricky, but it's definitely possible. It's usually used to soften a refusal or express disappointment. For example, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that, please don't be angry. Soften a refusal. Please don't do that again. Expresses disappointment. Does that make sense? Have you ever used please in a negative context?
Yes, like sometimes uh, engage to students he call me repeat and repeat, so I get a message and send it message please don't call me because I'm busy, that express my feeling like I'm busy now, so please don't call me.
Okay, I totally understand the situation. That's a perfect example of using please in a negative sentence to soften your message and set a boundary. Saying please don't call me because I'm busy is a polite and clear way to communicate your needs. It's so important to set boundaries, especially when you're busy. It's a way of being kind to yourself, you know. Have you been practicing mindfulness when people constantly call you?
Yes, Annie, I'm very calm down, and I'm also meditation in my class. So I'm calm down, like people call me, so continuously. So I'm kind down this.
That's fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that you're practicing meditation and staying calm. It's amazing how mindfulness can help us navigate those moments of frustration and maintain our inner peace. Keep up the great work, my friend. You're doing awesome.
Okay, Annie, my next question is: please always necessary to polite request, or can intonation replace it?
Okay, so please isn't always necessary for a polite request. Intonation, body language, and context can definitely play a big role. Sometimes, a warm tone of voice, a smile, and the right phrasing can make a request sound polite even without using the word please. But it really depends on the situation and your relationship with the person you're talking to. What's your take on it?
Okay, Annie, my next question is: how does saying please affect the listener response?
Okay, so saying please can have a pretty significant impact on the listener's response. It generally makes people feel more respected, valued, and willing to help. It shows that you're not just demanding something, but you're acknowledging their autonomy and making a polite request. Of course, the effect can also depend on other factors like your tone of voice, body language, and the overall context of the situation. But in general, saying please is a good way to increase the chances of getting a positive response. Does that make sense? Have you noticed a difference in how people respond when you use please?
Okay, Annie, my next question is: what situations might someone initially avoid using please?
Okay, that's a great question. There are definitely situations where someone might intentionally avoid using please. Here are a few possibilities. Asserting authority. If someone is in a position of power, they might feel that using please undermines their authority. Emergency situations. In urgent situations, people might prioritize speed and clarity over politeness. Familiarity. With close friends or family, people might feel that please is unnecessary or overly formal. Can you think of any other situations where someone might avoid using please?
Okay, Annie. My next question is: can the absence of please in communication lead to misunderstandings?
Okay, that's a really insightful question. Yes, the absence of please in communication can definitely lead to misunderstandings. Without please or other politeness markers, a request can come across as demanding, rude, or entitled. This can damage relationships and create unnecessary conflict. Have you ever experienced a situation where the lack of please led to a misunderstanding?
Okay, Annie. My next question is please more commonly used in formal or informal setting?
Okay, let's talk about please in its natural habitat. Generally speaking, please is more commonly used in formal settings. It's a key ingredient in polite and respectful communication, especially when you're interacting with people you don't know well, superiors or customers. In informal settings, like hanging out with close friends or family, please might be used less often. However, it's still a good idea to sprinkle it in now and then, just to show that you appreciate them. When do you tend to use please the most?
Okay, Annie. My next question is in professional settings, how does using please impact communication? Annie, my question is in professional settings, how does using please impact communication?
Okay, so in professional settings, using please can have a really positive impact on communication. Shows respect. It demonstrates respect for your colleagues, clients, and superiors. Builds rapport. It can help build rapport and create a more positive and collaborative work environment. Avoids misunderstandings. As we discussed earlier, it can help prevent your requests from coming across as demanding or rude. Enhances professionalism. It contributes to an overall impression of professionalism and competence. It's a small word with a big impact. Have you noticed a difference in your professional interactions when you use please?
Okay, Annie, my next question is how do chatbots or AI assistant respond differently when please is included in a command?
Okay, so it's interesting to think about how chatbots and AI assistants respond to please. Most chatbots and AI assistants are programmed to recognize please as a politeness marker. Including please in a request might increase the likelihood of a helpful response. Some systems are designed to prioritize polite requests. Trigger a more courteous response. The AI might respond in a more friendly and helpful tone. Have no effect. Some simpler AI systems might simply ignore the please and focus on the core request. As AI technology becomes more advanced, it's likely that chatbots will become even more sensitive to nuances in language, including politeness markers like please.
Okay, Annie, my next question is how has texting and social media changed the way people use please?
Okay, that's a great question. Texting and social media have definitely shaken things up when it comes to using please. Reduced use. In informal online communication, people tend to be less formal, so please might be used less often. Emphasis on brevity. Texting and social media encourage brevity, so people might omit please to save time and characters. Shift in tone. In some cases, the absence of please might be compensated for by using emojis or other markers of friendliness. Context matters. The use of please in texting and social media often depends on the relationship between the communicators. Have you noticed any other changes in how people use please in the digital world?
Okay, Annie, my next question is will the usage of please change in the future with involving communication styles?
Okay, that's a fun question to ponder. It's hard to say for sure how the usage of please will change in the future, but here are a few possibilities. Continued decline. As communication styles become more informal and direct, the use of please might continue to decline. Reinvention. Please might evolve and take on new forms in digital communication, like using emojis or GIFs to convey politeness. Increased importance. As AI becomes more prevalent, using please might become even more important for interacting with machines. Contextual usage. The use of please might become even more context dependent, with people carefully considering the situation before using it. What's your prediction?
Okay, Annie, my next question is in which culture is considered impolite not or to say please?
Okay, so in many cultures, it's considered impolite not to say please. Western cultures. In Western cultures like the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia, saying please is generally considered a basic sign of politeness. European cultures. In many European cultures, such as France, Germany, and Italy, saying please is also highly valued. Asian cultures. In some Asian cultures, such as Japan and South Korea, politeness is highly emphasized and the equivalent of please is considered essential. Middle Eastern cultures. In many Middle Eastern cultures, politeness and respect are highly valued, and using appropriate language is essential. Of course, the specific nuances of politeness can vary from culture to culture. But in general, it's always a good idea to err on the side of politeness when interacting with people from different backgrounds. Have you noticed any differences in how people use please in different cultures?
Okay, Annie, thank you so much. You giving me answer all my question. Soon another interview session with you. Okay, bye bye. Allah Hafiz.
You're so welcome. It was fun chatting with you. Bye bye. Allah Hafiz.